And joining us now is Democratic Congresswoman Melanie Stansbury of New Mexico. She was just sitting in on that hearing. Congresswoman, thanks for stepping out. What are the top takeaways? What do we need to know about this hearing and what you're hearing from people who are impacted?
Yeah, well, I think it's important to just say right off the bat that we are 5 days away from SNAP benefits being cut off from 42 million Americans. And not only is Donald Trump not here, not negotiating, Mike Johnson has now shut down the House for 39 consecutive days. That means he has canceled votes. It means there is no Republicans here. It means there's no one to negotiate with. And across town, the president is building a $300 million ballroom while he is set to let Americans starve. So Democrats showed up for work this week. We are here on Capitol Hill. We are having a hearing right now to talk about health care, to talk about food assistance. But this is an emergency situation, and these guys haven't even bothered to show up for work.
Let me ask you more about the needs when it comes to food and people's ability just to feed their families. More than 1 in 5 families in your home state depend on those SNAP benefits to keep food on the table. That funding goes away this weekend if the shutdown continues. What's their reality if and when that deadline passes?
Yeah, well, 450,000 New Mexicans get some portion of their food through SNAP benefits. And I want to just explain, you know, we're talking about grandparents taking care of their grandchildren. We're talking about veterans who are just coming off the street and getting back on their feet. We're talking about children in the foster care system. Millions of Americans get meals through SNAP benefits. And if this appropriation is not funded, which, by the way, the White House is intentionally withholding funds. There is a contingency fund to make sure that Americans get fed, and they are choosing to not release those funds because they would rather let Americans starve than cut a bipartisan deal. Literally, a quarter of New Mexican families would be without food assistance. So today, I'm filing legislation that would prohibit the administration from withholding those funds. Our state is preparing to provide emergency appropriations, and our food banks all across our communities are gearing up, and we're calling on people in our communities to help out. This is like the pandemic in 2020. We need Americans to step up and help families, because if the White House is not going to do their job and not going to feed American families, then we're going to have to take care of each other, and we are doing everything we can. Finally, the states are filing a lawsuit to force the administration to release those funds, but I can't tell you how unprecedented this is, that the administration is refusing to feed families when they have the money to do so.
My colleague Alex Tabbitt was in New Mexico yesterday speaking with people who don't know where their next meal might come from if they lose SNAP. Let's listen.
How long is this sustainable?
Wow. It's not. It won't be from the first day. For every meal that a food bank provides, the SNAP program provides 9. There's no way we can meet that gap. There's no way we can replace every single one of those meals. It is not sustainable for food banks to fill this gap. We were not built to do this. We will stand out there and we will do our very best.
So that's with an executive director of a food pantry or food bank there in New Mexico. Republicans are arguing that all Democrats have to do is pass what they call the clean CR, that crisis of food assistance would go away. What do you say to that?
This is a completely manufactured crisis. There is $8 billion sitting in a contingency fund exactly for this purpose, and we have never in the history of the United States seen an administration intentionally withhold funding for food for Americans when there is money sitting there to do that. They moved funding just a couple of weeks ago to make sure that WIC was okay for the coming weeks. They can do it. They have the authority, and if you listen to White House officials, they are trying to use this is political leverage. They are trying to starve Americans of all parties to try to force the hand of getting what they want here on Capitol Hill once they've shut the government down and locked out the House. It's disgusting, it's reprehensible, and it's immoral, in my opinion.
Congresswoman Melanie Stansbury, thank you for joining us.